Hi, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio, where our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. Folks, I have two exceptional guests with me today. I am so excited to have with me two fine gentlemen from Canada, and they're going to talk about their business, but I just want to say this from my own opinion. It is wonderful what Daniel Findlay, who is founder and CEO of KinCapsule, has to offer, and Lev Gorman, who is also founder and he is Chief Operating Officer of KinCapsule Crimson Productions, and they work together. They created this KinCapsule Project. KinCapsule is an age tech and fam tech platform purpose built and market focused on families, baby boomers, retirees, and the elderly. And you can store information. It's really, I was just telling Daniel and Lev this, it's a time capsule, and it's wonderful. And when baby boomers, I'm a baby boomer. When they talk about retirees, that's me now. I can't believe it. And I want to welcome Daniel Findlay and Lev Gorman to Chatting with Betsy. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Oh, you are welcome, Daniel. I went to the audience. I met these fine gentlemen through LinkedIn, and we had talked back in March. And so excited to have you both on. Whoever wants to go first, can you each tell a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, Lev, go ahead.
I was born and raised in one of the most beautiful cities in the world, which is St. Petersburg in Russia. I came to Canada 26 already years ago. Time flies.
Yes.
So my mom, she stayed back home. She didn't want to go anywhere with us. So just, my little family came to Canada, and we had our conversations with Mom every couple of days, back and forth. And back home, I worked in different capacities. I was in academia because I have a PhD in economics. Then I was in business as a private consultant. Then I was with joint venture with Motorola, and we established cellular operator in St. Petersburg, Russia, together with Motorola. At some point, we decided to go to Canada to have new opportunities and see another life. And it was 26 years ago. In Canada, I was focused in information technology, also in consulting capacity, working with different institutions, including academia, corporations, and so on and so forth. And eventually, what happened, we started the KinCapsule Project that has its own history.
Yes, and Daniel, go ahead. Tell about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much again, Betsy, for having us. It's great
you're
to
welcome.
be here.
My pleasure.
My name. Thank you. My name is Daniel Findlay, and so a bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Toronto, in Canada, as you mentioned. My grandparents came from Scotland. Time flies, of course, again. But most of the family is here. We've got some, scattered relatives all over the place, really. But that's really where the family story starts. And in terms of my professional background, I've spent the last 20 years in enterprise technology. So which really means just big software solutions for very large companies. Things like customer relationship management and enterprise resource planning, or ERP, and a number of different BI analytics, AI kind of stuff. And then a bit of on the consulting side as well, in various roles, business development, sales, marketing, and in leadership roles. I have a business background. That's been pretty much the focus for me throughout my career. And I've had, the privilege of working for some amazing companies. So for the last, since December of 22 last year, so about 9 months or so, 9 or 10 months now, I'm now full-time in the KinCapsule business. So we are a tech startup. Lev and I are full-time in this business, and this is really, it's passion work. So we don't feel like we're actually working. We're doing what we love. Our mission is to help people. We'll get into more about who and what we are after, but it's been a real privilege to work on something that we love so much.
Yes.
And aside from that, yes.
Go ahead, Dan.
No. That's all. You go ahead, Betsy.
Oh, I was going to say, it's so wonderful. I love meeting people like you, Daniel, and you, Lev, that have a passion for what they do. And it shines through. You can tell when someone really cares about their work and what they're doing and helping people, and when they don't. You definitely, and I know I definitely could tell with people. What you have to offer, when you first presented it to me, it's just, it's different from, other similar things that are out there. And I just think it's great. And then I'm really excited to promote your KinCapsule project. Go ahead, what you were going to say, Daniel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just going to say it's easy to be passionate about this because we really, our business is people and families and bringing people together and sharing storytelling. And so it's easy to really, again, to be passionate, to really love what we're doing. And so, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, how did you two meet? Oh, go ahead, Lev.
I was add to Daniel that the nature of our passion, the root cause of our passion is that the project is very personal to both of us. And it comes from our personal experience, and it comes from events in our.
I think, are you still there, Daniel?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. I think Lev got cut off. I guess I'll join back in. So it's from personal experiences that you've had that you and Lev created KinCapsule Project.
Yeah, absolutely. So what Lev was saying is that the whole project is based on a personal experience for both of us. So the story really starts with Lev's mom. And so she, and I'm just going slowly here because I think Lev might come back in and he can tell the story, but maybe I'll start with mine. So my grandparents came to Canada. They like Lev, they came for more opportunity and they did very well. My grandfather was one of the founders of the pharmaceutical industry in Canada. He's got, he had tons of stories and stuff and experiences, but he had mental and physical health issues and passed away early when I was very young. And so, of course, we didn't have there weren't options or technology to capture, store, and preserve and create stories, a life story essentially, in that time. So we've lost a lot of the family history. He had a ton of stories about the family history as well. That when he passed away, those stories, were lost, with him. And anyway, so that was my part of the story, and that's why that was my personal experience with wanting to solve this problem. But I'll pass to Lev if he's there, because the story kind of starts with his mom.
There he is. Hi, Lev.
Hello. Technology.
Yes.
I just told my story, Lev, on the KinCapsule history. But if you want to tell, I was just saying that the story kind of starts with your mom. So if you could tell that story, that would be great.
Oh, well, I don't know when I was left off by technology. So again,
personal
I repeat a
story.
Yeah, I maybe repeat a little bit myself. So my mom was daughter of enemy of the state during Stalin's times. And her dad was arrested in front of her eyes, sent to Stalin's Gulag, and never got back. And since then, since she was a child, she had a serious trauma. And she never shared anything about her family and her story. And last day, she suffered from Alzheimer's, and obviously I could not get anything from her even till her last days. So when I came to the funeral, I saw a lot of documents, photos, and it was so sad because I didn't know people on photos, and I didn't know what the documents is all about. So when I came back home, and I started thinking, what can we do? Because my situation is not unique. People separated by time, by culture, by geography, socially. We need to do something about it. And this idea was sitting somewhere on the top shelf of my task. And what happened during COVID time, we met with Daniel. We knew each other, had a few years before, because our wives used to work together. So we were introduced, and we were sitting and just sharing what's happening. It was COVID. My business went down. Daniel, his employment was very questionable. And we started discussing, what can we do? And the idea of KinCapsule, just very naturally came to our discussion. And in fact, Daniel had his own story. And I told him the story of my mom, and he told me the story of his family as well. So maybe Daniel.
Yes, you did. Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
No, you go ahead, Betsy. Go ahead. I was just going to say the same thing you did. I've shared it.
Your stories, they both touch me because such a connection. Lev, my grandmother, my mother's parents were from Russia. They came over during World War I. My grandmother would tell me stories of fleeing Europe. And she didn't talk about the ship. But those stories are in my head. Now, her stories are different than her sister's stories that my cousin had heard. So it's interesting that people have different, takes on what happened. But, there's pictures of, we don't know who people are. And that's so happens all the time that when people die, there's pictures and who are these people. And we don't know. A lot of times we don't know family history because maybe our grandparents or parents had died young. maybe they have gotten Alzheimer's or some other dementia, and they can't remember. And you know what? I tell my people in my group, in my support group, video your loved ones. Record their voice. Because now there are, companies such as yours where they could store them. But way back, because I'm a baby boomer here, my dad took home movies, but there's no sound to them because there wasn't sound back then to the home movies at that time in the 60s. So you couldn't hear these people's voices. How precious is it now? And I want to encourage everyone, check out KinCapsule. Get your people's voices, documents, and start telling your history. Go ahead, Daniel or Lev.
In front of all our materials, presentation materials, even on the website about the project, we have the quote that leads us to this project as well and helps us to be successful. The quote is, when an old person dies, a library burns to the ground. And we saw my mom's library burn to the ground, Daniel's grandfather's library burned to the ground, so nothing left. And it's so sad that we need to be really successful to help people to keep library alive.
Oh, that is so very true. So true. I have to say, I took videos of my husband, Matt. Matt had early onset Alzheimer's. And so I'm very passionate about what you both have created and what you're doing, because I have his voice. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell the audience, it's a comfort to me. Sometimes, I look at Matt's videos, the ones that aren't so pleasant, it brings tears to my eyes. But then you have when he's being silly, and it's funny, and it's comforting. It's a comfort to know I could still hear his voice. And that's why your project is so, so important. And I want to know, more about it, like how, what does it, involve? How do people, get to KinCapsule? What do they have to do to get their memories stored and stuff like that?
So I think what it would be helpful is if I kind of describe exactly what it is.
Sure.
So KinCapsule essentially at its core is a storytelling platform. It's purpose-built for life story and for legacy. So we've included some really neat features and functions in the system that help to the user to create, protect, preserve, store, collaborate on, and share stories. And through this process, our users create a really meaningful, organized, and structured life story it's amazing. It's a priceless account of your life or of a loved one's life. So you can create an account for an in-memory account for a family member that's no longer here, or you can create one for your parents or your grandparents. So, but that's essentially what it is. It's a storytelling platform that's purpose-built to create a really meaningful, organized, and structured life story and building a legacy that you can leave behind forever. And so the tools, we have multimedia tools that we've included. So the stories that our users create and that I create, I have my own personal account as well, and it's amazing. So basically you can use video or audio or pictures, or you can type your story, or you can create stories with all of the above. So if you have old pictures, existing videos, you can upload those into the story, and then you can type the story as well, create a new narration in an audio if you want. And what we find is everyone's got pictures, and pictures are great, but they don't tell the whole story. The pictures are just still shots of moments in history. And so what we wanted to do is have, technology available for users to really bring those pictures back to life. And so that's why we've included the audio narration tool. So you can add a narration to all your pictures as well in a certain story. And then we've got really cool things too. Like once you start creating a bunch of experiences, thoughts, feelings, emotions, stories, essentially, you can pin them on a map, for example. So we allow the user to actually visualize their entire life on a map. And so, for example, Betsy, you were mentioning that your parents were originally from Russia. So there's probably, your family probably has an amazing migration story, right? And this is what a lot of our users do too. They can start to tell the stories of their grandparents, then their parents, then themselves, right? And you can, there's a social component too. So what we try to do is, our mission is really to help people connect and interact connect and interact with each other in a very meaningful way, right? So there's a lot of social tools in the market now, but ironically, we're still kind of disconnected as people. We're not meaningfully connecting. Excuse me. And so that's one thing, is we want to drive meaningful social connection between families and friends and communities. And then the other piece of it is we want to combat isolation and loneliness. So not everyone has people or family and many friends. So what we want to do is we want to create we have created a system where you can connect with people meaningfully and tell your story. Everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, where you're from, everyone has a story, and it's worth preserving and sharing. And so that's kind of in a nutshell what we do.
I love it. Go ahead, Lev. I just love it. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
I'm excited.
Just a few words. Everybody knows social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, of course. And we're not competing with any of those. We call these platforms digital town square, because people looking for exposure, feedback, basically as many people can react to their postings, the better. So we call KinCapsule is digital sanctuary. It's private, secured, and very important component, basically legal component, is KinCapsule users, they own their data. So the data will not be disseminated in any shape or form. It will not be shared. It will not be used for commercial purposes, because the users, the owners of data, owners of information, if they want to share, they can share. If they don't, it will be not shared at all. The users can create their network of people, trusted network of people. There will be no strangers accessing this account. So privacy, security, and ownership on data, these are main pillars, like legal pillars of what we do. And these legal pillars, they support by functionality developed in the system.
I think.
Just to add to what Lev was saying there, is that what we have found is when you give the right functions and the tools necessary to create a meaningful, structured, and organized life story and build a legacy, and you give the content or information ownership to the user, plus when you add privacy and security to it, what it does is it allows the person to take off their digital mask. Sometimes when we're posting things and creating things in different types of social media, we're it's not the whole life story, right? Life can be tough sometimes. Life is not all sunshine and lollipops. It can be tough.
True.
It can be it's good and bad and ugly at times, and we want our users to feel like they're in a trusted, creative digital space where they can create their whole authentic life story, the good and the bad. And they can, if they want to keep some of the stuff private, they can do that, and no one will see it. And if they want to share things, then they can do that too. So we've got users who create very personal stuff, and in many cases they share it, and in some cases they don't. And I just one other thing I wanted to quickly add is we've also built out a succession function. So when you're creating your life story, our tagline or our motto is "Live Forever," and really what we mean by that is people live forever through their life story and through their legacy. And so we want to preserve that forever. And so that's what we've done with KinCapsule. And so part of that is, as unfortunately we all pass away at one point, what we can have is peace of mind knowing that our life story and a priceless account of our life in our own words, with our own stories, it will be passed on to the person of your choice, or if you don't have a family member or a friend that you can succeed your story to, you can pick a public record or archive as well. And so there's many options to ensure that your story never dies.
Well, that's amazing to me. I'm really excited because it's so important. We learn from our elders. Storytelling is the most basic way, I feel, to communicate. We all have stories. We should share them. We learn from other people's stories. And I just have to tell the audience, if everyone should do this before they get diagnosed with a terminal illness. But if you or a family member diagnosed with Alzheimer's or some other terminal illness, please get going on this KinCapsule because it's so important to preserve these memories. Can you, Daniel or Lev, can somebody put their wishes, like how they want their end of life to look like, in this KinCapsule so that people don't have to fight over, no, they didn't want this, no, they didn't want that, and they could just have it in this KinCapsule? So end of life, is that what you're referring to? Like your final wishes and that? Yeah. Yeah. So someone can record that.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. No, it's a great question. We on our roadmap. So the short answer is no. You can't put in a legal final wish or will or your final will and estates now. That's the current state. But the exciting part is that we've 100% we've thought of that, and it's in our roadmap. So and that will either come through functionality or it will come through a partnership. So we have actually we've talked to a couple of companies that have a digital wills and estates product or end of life product, really, that does a lot more than just wills and estates. And that might be something that we include in a future version of KinCapsule. But 100%, it's a great question, and it's a great idea to have it all in one place, and we are working on it.
Oh, okay, because there's, that's a big problem with some families. They, argue, no, mom or dad didn't want this. Yes, they told me, but they tell one child, they don't tell the other one. And if it's in of course, people should go to a lawyer and it should be written down. But I think it's also helpful if they can, video the person, if it's possible, for that person to say, this is what I want, and then have it in a safe, secure place like KinCapsule.
I was just going to say, so what technically, absolutely, you could create any, your last wishes, and basically you could have a video of yourself or an audio file of yourself or both, and you could even take a picture of of the document. If you have a legal document, then you could take a picture of it and upload it into your KinCapsule account. So you can technically do it. It's just what I don't want to claim is that it's a legal document that you're creating. Right.
Oh,
but,
I gotcha.
Can you record yourself giving your final wishes? 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Right. It's not. I know what you're saying. It wouldn't be considered legal, but somebody can do it, and then the siblings can't argue when they see a person saying it. If a mom or dad, or to say, I want to give my jewelry, whatever, to whoever. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. And one further thing that's kind of that you made me think of is, so for example, you can schedule things to go out too. So for example, let's say I'm at the beginning of the year, and I've got 20 people in my life that are very close to me, and I want to, their family, and a combination of family and friends, and I usually wish them a happy birthday with a nice meaningful message. What I can do is I can create these messages I can just take one afternoon, not even a couple, just a short period of time, and I can create all these nice meaningful messages, video, audio, pictures, whatever they are. And let's say they're happy birthday messages. I can create them all in one short period of time, in an hour or something, and then I can schedule them to send out on the birthdays of each of the people. So I can set it and forget it, kind of thing. So I mean, the other great thing is, for, like you said, for people, let's say I'm not going to be around for my grandkids, 30th, 50th, 70th birthday. Just because I'll be too old at that point. I've already passed away. What I can do is I can create really, really nice, meaningful messages, and they send out after I've passed away. So I can continue to interact with my family even though I'm gone. So for people, if you have if there's a terminal illness or any reason that you want to create messages that are very meaningful or funny or whatever you want, you can continue to have things being sent out. So it's a really nice feature.
Wow, that is cool. I think Lev got disconnected again.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Oh, okay, Lev. I thought you get disconnected. Lev, you and I also have something. I saw you got disconnected, but you and I have something else in common. My grandparents came in illegally through Canada. So they did come in through Canada, but they didn't settle there. They came into New York. But I tell people I'm a byproduct of illegals.
No, I came legally. I came absolutely legally.
Yeah.
I went through the very thorough verification process of my abilities. So I came as a technology professional. So it was professional immigration for me and my family.
Yeah, you were legit. Just that I don't know where in Canada my grandparents landed. It's on the East Coast, I'm sure, because they came into down to New Hampshire and the East Coast side. So it probably was maybe Toronto that they might have came to.
No, it was Halifax, most likely.
Oh, yeah, they could have. Say these stories, didn't think to ask that, but for some reason my grandmother didn't talk about the ship at all to anybody. So you wonder, what went on that she wouldn't even talk about it to anyone. But I just think it's so important, folks. I can't impress enough. And I don't care if I sound redundant, because this is so important to have these precious stories and memories safe, where you can look at them and preserve them. And I wanted to ask, now can a family have an account? Like, say if I wanted to do my story, can my son be on there? Or can I list who I want on the KinCapsule account?
So you can have your own account and have your son as successor of your account. And at the same time, your son can create his own account and get connected with you through KinCapsule. And you can exchange your stories, and you can share the stories with your son as you create them. And you can share the stories with your son, and you can make your son successor of your entire KinCapsule. So
and how does this... Oh, yeah, go ahead, Liv. No, go ahead.
No, this is how you collaborate with your friends and family through exchange of information within KinCapsule system. However, in our roadmap, we have more well-developed ways of collaboration, and people can collaborate on the particular stories or particular subjects or particular capsules about their loved ones. Let's say if we have in memory KinCapsule, people can collaborate in this KinCapsule about their loved one. People can collaborate. It's on our roadmap to make this collaboration feature developed.
And how does someone... Oh, go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
Just in addition to this idea of collaboration, what you can do too, which is a very fun activity, in fact, for the family, is when the families get together or friends get together, what you can do is have any combination you want. So you can create your own stories, but what you could do is have maybe your grandson or granddaughter or your son or daughter, they can actually interview you, right? And you can create stories that way. What we've included is a list, kind of like a roadmap, a life story roadmap we've included in the system. So you can look at what we call suggested stories. And we've got this really great curated list of some questions that will help guide you through creating a really nice life story. Because, especially when you get older, you've got all these experiences, all these stories, and, you're like, a lot of people are like, where the heck do I start my story? How do I build my life story? So we've included some functionality and some like almost like being guided, a guided experience on the how to create your life story. And again, what you can do in terms of collaboration is you can have, it's fun to get like the different generations connecting. So you can have, Gen Z or millennials interviewing their grandparents or their parents to help tell these stories. And they can be funny stories. They can be whatever you want them to be, family history stories, your love stories, whatever you want. And anyway, so it becomes a really fun activity, especially around holidays when the families are all together. Everyone's exchanging stories and stuff. So this is a really nice way to record some of this stuff because, eventually you wish you had done it. Yes. You think back to these really, really fond memories, and you wish you had some trace of these stories that you can go back to. And so again, that's why we've created the KinCapsule system.
Yeah, that is so true.
What we have really touching and emotional experience now because we run our pilot projects in retirement community here in Canada. And what we do what your younger people would do with you, we do with residents of these retirement communities. We come, we interview them, we record their stories, and we create capsules for them. It's our pilot project, but it's so touching, it's so emotional. And the stories, they're absolutely amazing. Daniel, maybe you can share your experience with these people.
Yes, it is. I wish that I had, at the time, a smartphone with a video, so I could have recorded my father's voice.
Oh.
But I did not have that at that time.
I was on mute. Sorry, go ahead there, Betsy.
Oh, I said I wish that that I had that technology with my phone back when my father was alive, so I could have recorded him. But I don't even know if they had a technology at that time. But I didn't, because I didn't get a smartphone until 2016. No, 15. 14. No, I had it 14 or 15. But they didn't have the recording on it. Well, mine didn't. And so my father died in 2012, so I don't have a recording of his voice.
Yeah, see, I know. It's the technology didn't come out till more recently, but what I was going to say that Lev was talking about was in this pilot project that we're running in a senior living and retirement community, the eldest person that we're working with right now is 101.
Wow.
Her name is Bryna, and she was she's from Lithuania and originally, and came over again during the war to Canada, and so the family's now here.
And she's Holocaust survivor.
Holocaust
I was just
survivor.
going to ask that.
She's actually she was in the Holocaust and survived, and her stories are incredible. And she's still, she's 101, so she's not very mobile, but she's still, her mind is sharp, very sharp, and she's hilarious. And she's got funny stories, and she's got really, powerful stories about the history. And so her daughter is 70. So she's 101, her daughter's 70, and then her daughter's daughter, her granddaughter, is about 40, and then she has kids herself. So there's 4 generations, and this is just a great way for them to make sure that they've captured the stories and that all the generations can learn about their family history, but from their family, right? Not like a public record or in an archive, like a document somewhere. These are personal, anecdotal stories that they're going to be passing down to each other, and it's just really incredible. This family's really loves it, and they're having fun.
Yeah, that's really important. The surviving, I was going to actually ask if she's a Holocaust survivor, and there's not many left, to get their history down while they can still tell you. It is so important because, you search for family history and you don't know, but to have it recorded, that is really very, very important, and has to be very emotional and heart-touching for the family. Daniel or Lev, how does someone who hears the show get in touch with you to start a KinCapsule account?
It's very simple. Just go to KinCapsule.com on the web and start creating your account. Just sign in. Account yours. And for now, it's free of charge. So early adopters will be,
There's different packages, but so there's a free version that people can just to get signed up and check it out, and then there are some very cool upgrades that you can do as well, depending on what kind of experience you want. But we wanted to have something for everybody, and so there is a free package in the basic account. So go to www.kincapsule.com and sign up and check us out. In about 2 weeks or less, between 1 week and 2 weeks, you can also you will be able to go to the App Store from your smartphone or to Google Play, and you can download the mobile app, and you can sign up there too. And so that way the mobile app version of it's really handy because you're living life with your phone in your pocket, and you can, anytime you think of something or you run into someone or you have you want to do some storytelling, you have your camera and you have access to KinCapsule on a mobile device, and makes it nice and convenient too.
I was going to ask.
And you can reach us at contact@kincapsule.com as well. So if anyone has any questions, they can just send a note, an email to contact@kincapsule.com.
Okay. And go ahead, Lev.
We speak about really sad started KinCapsule application. But if people travel, when people travel with their smartphone, they take tons of pictures, and they can use these pictures to create their travel stories. So it's not necessarily sad part of KinCapsule. This could be a fun application of it, and especially for travelers, along with KinMap, the map view of your life. It could be a lot of fun.
Yes, vacations, weddings, right? Anniversaries, birthdays. To have this all on KinCapsule is it's a wonderful idea. That's really, I think, very necessary for people to have. Can someone who is tech challenged, and I am tech challenged, be able to use it easily?
We created it especially to be easy to use, but we didn't want it to be without some sophistication. So for those of us who are not very techy, you can create a story with a couple clicks. You go to what we call the studio. You just click into the studio, you open it up, and all you have to do is click on the video recorder, and away you go. You can start recording your story. We've also included what we call capsules, which are really just folders and filters. So if you're looking to for example, like one of our users has a big family, and she has a folder that she's created called Secret Family Recipes. And she's got all the recipes now in one folder, just pictures of written recipes from the family over the years, and she's put them all into one folder. She's also got one folder called Dating. So before she got married and have kids and did the whole thing, she had these really funny dates, really really nice memories that she has of meeting people and stuff. And she's got a folder, and each of her dating stories are in the dating folder. She's got one called Bucket List. So she's got all these experiences that she's had that that are on her bucket list, and she's created this really cool folder where she can keep all of her bucket list stuff. And so travel too, like Lev's example, you can create, like, maybe you can do continents: Europe, Africa, North America, South America, and then you could have subfolders for each country that you've been to, and then even cities if you want. So we give the user all the controls they need to get as organized and as structured as they want to. But at the end of the day, you just have to a couple clicks, and you can start to record your story.
Also, what we have now, we have instructional materials online, and we have videos. And on these videos, absolutely adorable baby boomer tells people how to use KinCapsule in very seamless way. So we have a series of little videos associated with each functionality of KinCapsule. So there's some support materials that help users to navigate through application.
That sounds great. And how can people get in touch with you, Daniel, or you, Lev, through the KinCapsule website?
Yes. Well, the contact at KinCapsule.com, we automatically get all the messages on our business accounts, business email accounts.
Oh, great. Okay.
So
well,
it's rerouted to accounts as well.
Okay. Well, I want to thank best way to get in touch with you, both of you.
Yeah, it's on contact at KinCapsule, KinCapsule.com. Contact at KinCapsule.com, and as Lev said, that automatically gets transferred to our inboxes. We just like it to go to contact because there's more people looking at the box, so we don't want to miss anybody. And this way, we'll have multiple eyes on from our team looking at the emails to make sure people can get in touch.
Oh, that's great. I can't thank you enough, Daniel Findlay, Lev Gorman, for what you're doing with this KinCapsule project, helping families connect, treasure their memories. So important. I want to thank you both for coming on and sharing the wonderful work that you were doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you, Betsy, for having us.
Are you welcome? Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. Folks, all the information about KinCapsule will be in the blog, so please read the blog that Jeannie White, who's station manager, writes, and Jeannie produces the show. So I want to thank Jeannie for all she does, and have to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. And thank you for listening, subscribing. If you don't already subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, it is for free. I'm on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, just to name a few. And tell your friends about Chatting with Betsy. Tell your friends about KinCapsule. Share this show. I want to help as many people as possible, and I need your help. Who doesn't want to treasure memories? Who doesn't want to hear stories? I used to love to hear my grandmother's stories, and I'd love to hear other people's stories, but this is how we connect, and I really want to encourage you all to check out KinCapsule, and I think you will be very delighted and be glad that you, just go on the website, take a look. And I think you'll be very, very delighted, and that you will want to tell your story, that you would want to have KinCapsule as even as an heirloom. That's what it is, in my opinion. It's a wonderful heirloom to have. And I just want to tell everyone you could follow me on Facebook, Betsy, Betsy, E. Wurzel, Wurzel. If you're a caregiver, know a caregiver, I have hashtag Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement on Facebook. And I just want to thank everyone for listening. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright. Because if we all did that, it would be a much kinder, brighter world. Until we chat again, be safe. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye now.